That's alright, mate. Thanks very much for coming. You're looking very trendy, mate. I can tell you've been in my hometown with Dundee. Rubbing off on you. Couple of years and you'll be dressing like this.
No chance. The state.
No, like it. Look at the state. This is in vogue this month, mate. Go and buy the issue, you'll see it, alright? Paris and Milan, mate, this is what they're all wearing. Just for anyone that doesn't know, I've known Daz for years. Remember the first time we met? I was at Celtic, I was about 15. I thought it was the new Davy Hanna. Tommy Burns sent us down to Largs to play some Irish mob. Ended up getting absolutely bashed. He's bashed us, didn't he? Next thing, a week later, 4 years over, mate, sitting on my peg, I'm thinking, what's happening here? Never seen Tommy so happy, mate. I thought he brought Westlife over for the World Tour. But luckily for us, you were the only one that could actually control the quality for you. What was that like moving over, and how big an influence was Tommy?
Obviously you know more than anyone. Tommy was unbelievable. He had a personality like no other. I think I compare, like, he was like Simon Cowell on X Factor. Everyone could praise you, but you didn't really care. All you wanted was Tommy's approval. He was great. He was great for everyone. I think, as you know, he was a funny character when he wanted to be. He was obviously very serious. It was a very serious side to him, but a lot of people saw the character in him, and he was a huge character.
The youth team days were brilliant, weren't they?
Yeah, we had a great squad. If you actually look at our squad, I reckon about 15 out of 15 players, maybe 9, 10 have made careers out of football, which is incredible, and that's probably testament to the upbringing we had. The youth team days were really, really good, and Tommy was obviously a big part of that.
Do you not think that we had done so well though? We're all characters, weren't we? See, now you tainted on the youth team, do you still get that?
No, it's funny, I speak quite a bit about that. I think you hear people say, players are overcoached or this or that. I don't really buy into that. I just think people aren't the same anymore. Kids growing up, I even look at my own little one. She's wrapped in cotton wool all the time. I wrap her in cotton wool that she's not allowed out. I used to be sent out. I used to be sent out when I was younger, and you wouldn't see me till at night. Now you can't do that, and I think people are different now. But yeah, you're right, we had loads of characters. I think football, you hear it all the time, is lacking that now.
Going on to Tommy again, you were a real favourite of his. Do you think he played a big part in you pushing through at the first team?
I used to think Tommy thought I was the one out of that group. Well, he made me think that. But see, if I actually think about it, I think he made everyone feel like that they were the one that would... He just made you feel that bit bigger than you probably were. But believe me, Tommy gave me the biggest dressing downs I've ever had in football. I remember when I first came over, I had problems in my digs. My digs was fantastic and I was a little bit disrespectful. Tommy had me, I think, in a room for 3 hours and just absolutely went through me. So he was not just a football person in my life as a man, I suppose, because obviously when you move home from 15, you're not developed yet, you've not learned about life. And he was, as much as he was good for me in football, he was a massive part in actually developing me as a human. And I think that stood me in good stead, the principles he probably taught me.
Any favourite stories you've got on that you can remember, whether it be with the youth team or the first team?
No, yeah, I was thinking, there's plenty, his one-liners. His one-liners were brilliant, whether it be you were struggling in training, if you had a drink with your lunch, or
problems at home.
Problems at home.
Can get
but the one that it was when I went into the first team, I was trying to think of what the game was. It was a massive game, so let's say it was a Champions League game. It was Champions League or Rangers, and it was Paul Hartley, I'm sure it was Paul Hartley. Both Gordon Strachan had pulled Paul Hartley before the game, said, look, I'm leaving you out, and he'd been playing, he'd been doing really well. And Paul Hartley was a really good pro, so he obviously took it, but he was gutted. So he was in the dressing room, Gordon Strachan came in, named the team, and he could see Zico was obviously his head down, he was gutted. So he turned to Tommy, he says, Tommy, go and have a word, because Tommy was brilliant at that, picking players up, and go and have a word with him, just make sure he's alright. He said, he's going to probably come on the game, affect the game. Tommy, alright, leave with me. So I went over and sat with him, he says, Zico, you've done brilliant, you've done really well, you're going to have a big part the rest of the season, this game even. And he went, but just between me and you, the real reason you've been left out is the gaffer's sick. So obviously he goes, well, he's sick. He's sick of seeing you play shite every week. He just got up and walked off. Paul Hartley, what do you do? You can only laugh, and that was him in a way, and that was Tommy to a T. He knew he was a serious guy, but when he could turn the most awkward
Mix of
situations.
both,
Yeah, he was brilliant.
Uh-huh.
So he was a fantastic character.
That first team had some characters in it. Sutton, Thompson. How did they accept you in it? I remember Sutton used to drive you in, didn't he, for East Kilbride, because he used to come in with the 4 Irish boys, and we obviously trained at different times.
Yeah, he took a shot. He's a weird character. I don't think he took a shine me, or he was basically just taking the piss out of me. But it's
hard to tell.
Yeah, very hard to tell. But he used to give me lifts home and stuff like, which was unheard of. That first team squad weren't accommodating the slightest.
No.
They were horrible, horrible. What a team they had, what players. We talk about characters, massive characters, but not accommodating in the slightest for a young lad, which again was a good education, but I was nervous.
What was some of the things that you would say to you in the motor?
Chris Sutton was the one that would come for me all the time. In the motor, we'd be going back. Now bear in mind, these lads were my heroes, the idols I looked up to, and he remember coming back one day and went, "Why did you guys on 16?" He was like, "You should be playing Big Bobo's a bomb scare." I'm like, Bobo's my hero, like, he's the guy that the whole club depends on at centre back. He's a bomb scare. I'm like, what? We used to my first ever day, I got pulled. I was only 16. Got told. I thought I was going to be pulled and told I was training with the 19s, because that would have even been a jump. I said, "You're training with the first team today," and I don't care what anyone says. I was gutted. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to." So I was standing at the side like the player down at Barrowfield. Everyone always waited for Martin O'Neill to come onto the pitch, and it was Sutton, Lennon, and Stephen Petrov were playing keep you up 2-touch. So I'm standing there just trying to keep my head down. He said, "Come on, get involved." I'm thinking, this is the last thing I need my touch to be tested here.
You just want to tackle people.
So I went in, got involved. So he said, "We're going to play cow." And so you have 3 lives, COW. Played it. Of course I lost. And they said, "Right, on you go." And I was like, "What?" He said, "You need to reenact a cow for 20 seconds. And I was like, I was strong enough in my head to go, no chance of doing that.
Did you?
And first I was like, no
I
chance.
didn't know my knees, mate.
So next minute, they went, "Right, we'll play again, but this is the rules. If you lose, you think, oh, right, okay, play dog." So sure enough, I lost. Do a dog. I was like, "Nah, I'm not doing it. So Sutton has gone, "Right," he's gone, leave him, lad. He's only a young lad, leave him." He goes, "Young man, see the lamppost." There was a lamppost, the lamppost in Barrowfield. I mean, 100 yards, it was about 100. He went, "If you get up and around that and back in 30 seconds, we'll call it quits." I thought, brilliant, all I have to do is run. So he goes, "But 30 seconds, if you don't make it, you need to do dog." So I've taken off like the wind, sprint as fast as I can. But what I've not realised is, as I've taken off, Martin O'Neill's walked onto the training pitch, the whole first team squad's gone in. Martin O'Neill, I've got my back to them, sprinted, and Chris Sutton is screaming at the top of his voice, Gaffer, what's the youngin doing?" But my back to the wall, sprinting as fast as I can. I've come round the lamppost, and the whole squad's buckling, laughing, watching me walking in. Absolutely ridiculous. And that was the first training session. And he was, the other one I can remember was working in handing out the mail, because we did all the skivvy work. So it was my work, handing out the mail, and there was loads with that team, there was loads of mail. So I'd given it out to most players, and there was a bit more. And Chris and the whole first team squad's in, and I'm trying to keep my head down, don't speak to me. And every time I heard the words, "Oh, he does," I knew something was coming. And he's opening his letter and he goes, "You're going to need to get used to this one day, son." He's giving me a compliment here. One day I'm going to be open all mail, because soon you'll be working in the Royal Mail. The whole squad buckled and laughing. He's ruined me again.
He done the same to me, in his motor. Listen, see when you're working at McDonald's next year, make sure you give my kids
extra chips. He used to shout at me when I was training. He'd be walking by shouting.
Brilliant. Excellent. But even stuff like that now, see older pros, they don't act like that with kids.
No, the young kids that are at Dundee now are really comfortable. They're really which I like that. I certainly tried to make them feel comfortable, but they did not make you feel comfortable.
No.
In fact, they made you feel awkward.
They're just testing you though, innit?
Yeah, and if you had a bit about you, and
I liked it.
People, I think it was Gowser, wasn't it? Gowser Midge, they paid them, they said, "We give you, I don't know, 50 quid or something if you wrecked the physio room." And then it kicked off because the physio room was ruined.
But while they were doing it, they were away grassing.
There's
2 lads in the physio room.
So I think it was John Robertson come in, the physio room's been trashed, he's gone mental, thinks he's 2 young boys. I think it was Alan Thompson that paid them.
Brilliant.